doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Wow, it's been a minute, hasn't it?
It has just a little minute.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to Rico's Blues News, our podcast. This is episode number 2, and this week's guest co-host is Orion Sanders from Notorious Entertainment, the promoter of the Kern River Rock and Blues Festival. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, Rick. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, things have been good for me. Um, where are you living now?
I'm in Kernville still. Um,
Okay.
Sitting here I'm still doing a couple of events every year, but yeah, the one that we both seem to love quite a bit is our Tito's Kern River Rock and Blues Fest. It has been for the last couple of years, and yeah, we're still bringing 13 bands to Kernville, and just having a good time.
And when's that going to take place this year?
It's the last weekend of September, and September, I think 25th, 26th, 27th.
Oh, 3 days. Awesome.
Yeah. So,
And
yeah,
is
we're
it the Frandy campground? Is that what it's
yeah,
called?
it's at Friend Campground. I'm right in the middle right now of looking into some bands, trying to get some bands booked, and got some good ideas, and yeah, it's been going great. We've had some great acts the last couple of years. We had Pedro Cordero last year. Just
Wow.
a great dude. I mean, he was a blast. Harless Sweetwater headlined the year before, so some names out there that Southern California and even some Brazilian people will know. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Of all of the entertainers that you've had there, who have you really connected with and really felt, that musical connection?
Oh man, that'd be hard. There's been so many, in the early days, of course, we had KK Martin here many years and love KK and you know, the early days had, White Boy James and some of these guys. Um, but it's rolled through the years. I mean, you kind of get years where you're just blowing it away and and other years it's kind of a little subdued, but putting together a lineup of, 7, 8 bands in one day on a stage is can be a little daunting, and it builds but we've got some great relationships. We got some bands that we bring back our kind of our uh, our opening acts are kind of local bands, so we bring them back every year and they're great. But yeah, I mean, there's just been so many, man, it's been crazy.
Well, and one of the cool things about the festival is it doesn't just take place on the stage at the Frandy campground, does it? It kind of moseys through the whole town.
Yeah, this is it's unique in its aspect. Kernville itself is a walkabout, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And so within walking distance of the main stage in Frandy Campground, there's 3 bars, a steakhouse, a brewery, and we book bands in all these places. So because we're outside, we have to shut down because of noise ordinance anyway.
Yeah.
So we shut down our main stage at 9 o'clock, but I book bands in all the bars in town. So everybody just walks right out of the venue and just goes bar hopping. We call it the Kernville Pub Crawl. And we go on the
Nice.
pub crawl the rest of the night and see different bands in the bars as well. So it's unique in that aspect because you can just walk right out and go. There's other events that have a lot of events have after parties and things like that, but not 4 different places you can literally walk to right out from the main venue.
That's totally awesome. Kind of like New Orleans, only in the foothills of the mountains.
Yeah, you think about when you go into a city like New Orleans or Austin. Texas has a great Sixth Street there. Those kind of places where there's bands in every other building.
Right.
Those are in the city. Those are in main towns. We're sitting right next to the Kern River. We got the mountains on each side of us. We got Lake Isabella down there, so a lot of people will come and fish and do that thing. And the walkabout of Kernville is literally just that. There's little antique shops and ice cream shops and the bars, the restaurant. You can literally get everything within walking distance. There's motels. There's other campgrounds. There's a steakhouse, a brewery, like I said. There's a little country kitchen. There's there's all these little things that are all right there within walking distance. You can get a motel right across the street and come into the venue. So,
Wow, that's
so
amazing. That's
there's a burger stand. McNally's, one of our partners, is right across the street, and so it's unique in that aspect that you can basically get everything within walking distance and not have to come to the Blues Fest and drink all day, and then you can literally pub crawl, as we started calling it, you know, where you don't have to drive anywhere and you can still go out and have a good time.
that makes it a very unique experience in
Yeah,
regards to what's out there today.
yeah, and we do it both Friday and Saturday night. We have a kickoff party in one of the saloons on Thursday, and then Friday we have a VIP party backstage, which is always a lot of fun and very exclusive. Those bands are exclusive acts, and then we have two bands on Friday night and seven bands on Saturday, and then we do it all again Saturday night, and then we do an open jam session on Sunday
Oh,
in the main park in the middle of town. We have an open jam session where anybody can come and jam and sit in. So it's a little bit of everything. I mean, we have a cornhole tournament. Um, since Tito's came on, we have a Bloody Mary contest on Saturday morning. We have some other little things that go on as well. And like you said earlier, we do raise money for Sarge's Wreaths for Vets, which is a nonprofit that we have that puts Christmas wreaths on the veteran headstones during the holidays. So
that's so awesome that you do
yeah,
that.
and our partners have been great with that. Tito's and a lot of our sponsors are all in tune with that. They help make donations. They give us raffle items and things like that. So at the end of the day, it is about our veterans and it is about raising money for the cause.
That's great. I love to hear that, man.
Yeah,
Especially, you know, we need things that are uplifting
yeah,
in our lives, and especially at this time in history when we live in strange and unusual times.
that is a fact, my friend. No,
So
it's
you
great.
remember when Freebo was there?
Yeah, yeah. It was our very first year. And KK Jagger and I got together. We actually started this event 14 years ago.
Wow.
And we got together and she had always wanted to do a blues thing. And I grew up here in the Kern River Valley area. And so we got together and wanted to put this thing on. And we were actually setting up we were setting up on Wednesday night. No, it's Thursday night. We decided to go up river to McNally's for dinner. And we had both met Freebo before and in passing and through friends or whatever, but I really never got to sit down with him and really, get to know the guy. But we walked in and him and his wife were sitting there having dinner. AK looks at me and she says, "I think that's Freebo." And I said, "You know what? I think you're right." So we went over and said hi and started talking and he's like, "Well, what are you guys doing here?" And I said, "Well, we're putting on a Rock and Blues Fest just down the road in Kernville." He says he's at McNally's now. McNally's is 13 miles up the Kern River.
Okay.
He has a house on the other side of the mountain, and they would come from the other direction to McNally's. He didn't even know Kernville existed. And so we invited him to come down and play.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So so we said, "Hey, come on down, sit in. We'll fit you in there. We'll find a spot." We ended up having a band that couldn't make it at the last minute, so we had this open spot. So we got Freebo down there. We hooked him up with KK Martin and Alistair Green. They sat in the green room. They practiced a couple little picking songs, and then they came out and they did a whole acoustic thing, the three of them, on the front of the stage. This is our very first year. We didn't even know if this damn Blues Fest was even going to happen. I mean, it's
Right.
anytime you do an event for the first year, it scares the crap out of you, right?
Of course.
And I'm
Of
sitting back
course.
on the side and I got my camera and I'm taking pictures. And, it kind of hits you. It's like, okay, here's KK Martin, here's this, blues bayou, guy that we all know. And then you got Freebo who played with Bonnie Raitt, is her bass player. Then you got Alistair Green, who was, I think he was with Alan Parsons Project at the time. You
That's
know,
right.
they're all sitting together and it kind of hits you and you're like, wow, we did something here, you know.
Yeah, you did.
And it was just by accident, you know, and so it turned out to be a really great deal, and you know, they all had a good time, and we've been doing it for another 14 years, or we're in our 14th year, so yeah.
Wow, talk about some incredible kismet, bringing those people together to do
Yeah,
that. I remember them sitting on the edge of the stage
yeah,
playing.
it was crazy. I was like, that this is really neat. And so, you know, we've been lucky over the years to get some great acts and bring some a lot of different bands. And the neat thing about, you know, bringing music to kind of my home, not only my hometown, but also a town that never had a music festival before, is
Hmm.
you get an opportunity to introduce the local people to music that they've never heard.
Right.
And so, you know, when KK and I started this, we created a good rapport of being able to book bands that people walked away and said, "Holy crap, that was great." You know, they look at the poster and they go, "I I've never heard of any of these people." They might have heard of the local bands, the little classic rocks out of Bakersfield or something, but as far
Right.
as your headliners and your regional touring bands, you know, they'd never heard of these people. And so, you know, but after a while, they're like, "Hey, you know what? They always book some acts that just kick ass on the stage and have a good time." And this is a rockin' blues fest. So, you know,
Right.
you got guys like uh, Johnny Main from the 44s, you know, grabbing a bottle of Jack Daniels out of the crowd and swigging it, and they're all dancing in the dirt, and they're just, you know, it's just our big dirt party, you know. But they like the um that kind of rockin' blues, that kind of dirty blues kind of thing, you know, and they like to party, and so we've been lucky to have some great acts that really you know turned some people on to music, and they all got new fans out of it. You know, so
Yes.
for the artist, even though we're a small music festival, probably not the highest paying gigs they're getting, but they get a ton of exposure to people that have never seen them before. And
Right.
we have friends now that are like, "Oh yeah, I follow Alistair everywhere he goes," or "I follow this guy wherever," you know, and they've really created a fan base by coming, and you know they're buying their albums, they're going in online and buying their stuff and seeing them play at other places, and it's been a really neat it's really been a really neat ride, and hopefully we can keep doing it for a long time.
Yeah, Alistair's career has really taken off.
Yeah,
I see him everywhere. He's constantly on tour. And Freebo has kind of gone in a different direction, and he is partnered with this incredible singer by the name of Alice Howe.
he's awesome.
Oh, it's totally great. I have a little clip right here. Take a listen to this.
Is this at NAMM?
No, it Norm's Guitars.
Oh, okay.
I was a young boy, I had these dreams. Time didn't matter, but so it seemed. Now I'm still a dreamer, but what's back then? The time keeps screaming, it's not now when. Not now when it's not me who can't pretend. Oh no, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear, amen. The time is now, it's not now when.
Hey,
Norm, what are you doing here?
sometimes I wonder myself. I got my buddy Freebo, Alice Howe, and Jimmy Vivino. When did they let you
I
out?
ran into them at the NAMM Show
Right.
and spent some time talking to them. They describe their music, and like you said, Freebo has played with Bonnie Raitt, and he's played with a number of incredible musicians. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's an incredible vocalist, and they describe their music as, because I always ask people to try and kind of pigeonhole it, And for them, they kind of pigeonholed it as Americana,
Right.
which includes all kinds of music, blues, roots,
Yeah.
rock, and these guys definitely can play it all, and they're very, very good together. So it was great running into them there and having a conversation with them there. And we're going to show that at the end of this interchange between you and I. Uh,
Yeah, Jimmy Vivino's been here. He came up. He used to play sit in with Sherry Porto.
oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, so
Sherry has moved back
he's
east.
back east now. Yep, her and Doug Wolverton are back there. They're dating, and they moved back there and doing great from what I can see. But yeah, Jimmy's played a couple of gigs with Sherry that I've had her at. So he's a great guy.
He
Jimmy.
is.
Yeah,
And I love both those. I
yeah,
love Sherry. I love to see her perform. And Jimmy, incredible player.
yeah.
Incredible player. They were just out here in California not too long ago in Southern California.
Yeah, she pops in once in a while. I keep trying to make it down there and see her. That she's usually down around the Ventura area, and
Hmm.
but I haven't been able to get down there yet. But I know Kelly Z's gone down and sat in with her one time, and she had a blast down there. So Kelly and Perry come up here and play for us quite a bit as well, and so it kind of gets some connections through some other people, and yeah, I need to get out there and see Sherry again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, she actually came through Sacramento, and
Hmm.
I went and saw her at the Torch Club,
Okay, yeah,
which is one of the blues music venues in Sacramento. And although this is Rico's Blues News, my thoughts about the blues, I'm not a blues purist. And for those of you out there who are blues purists, well, good luck to you. And I'm glad you are. And somebody's got to be, but it's not going to be me because what I like to do is listen to folks who play the blues and draw outside the lines.
yeah,
So
exactly.
the more creative you can get, the better I like it. And to quote Hunter Thompson, it never gets weird enough for me.
Yeah.
So what's the next thing that Notorious Entertainment has coming up?
I have two events that I'm doing right now. I have one that's called Outlaw West, which is kind of
Okay.
outlaw country scene. I
I
got
love that, man. You cross all of the lines. There's no
yeah,
music.
I was doing 3 or 4 events a year, and now I'm kind of dialing it down a little bit. I'm getting grayer and older, and and, but I have
Aren't
those.
we all? Aren't we
Outlaw West
all?
is it's a tailgate party. I was doing it before COVID hit, but after COVID hit, it became a full-on tailgate party. You bring your
Oh,
own beer, your own barbecue, your own everything. I sell you a tailgate space where you park your vehicle, and I sell you a ticket. We put some bands on the stage outside in the parking lot, and the Rock and Blues Fest is a lot of work. It goes over the course of 4 days, and there's a lot of bands. There's a lot to it. So when we did the outdoor tailgate thing, it became kind of a little easier to do, and a lot of fun. We have a
yeah.
barbecue contest. Uh, Tito's this year is involved in that one as well. We're having the Tito's Tavern this year. So I had created a great relationship with Tito's handmade vodka, and so
Nice.
they've been great to us. But and then I had another one. I'm not doing it this year. I may bring it back next year, but it's called Yesterfest. And Yesterfest is all classic rock tribute bands.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun.
I'll
Uh,
bet it is. There's a
you know,
gazillion tribute
if
bands
you
out there
ever
and they play all the time.
yeah, if you follow tribute bands, I mean, they dress up, they try to act the mannerisms, and so some old guys like us, you sit back, you listen to some old classic rock, and you're like, hey, this is the same shit I listened to when I was in junior high, and you know every song that's being played, and so I've done it for 3 years, but economy has kind of taken its toll on a little bit. The tribute band one has kind of a different budget than the other ones, but I do want to bring it back. I got some great connections uh, with some booking agents that do just tribute bands.
Hmm.
That really helps. but that one's a lot of fun. So I hope to bring that back in the future. But yeah, this year I got Outlaw West, the tailgate party, and then we have the Rock and Blues Fest.
Yeah, that tailgate party sounds like a lot of fun. And the tribute bands, these guys are just killing it. I mean, I've seen some clubs that only hire tribute bands, and they've
Yeah,
got every imaginable genre that
yeah.
you could think of.
Well,
Anything at all.
I when I first started booking them, I really wasn't in that connection, right? I mean, it really wasn't. But then I had a friend that was playing in one, and
Oh,
then another friend that was playing in one, and then so I kind of started hooking around. Then, as I got more into following the tribute bands, and I had Yesterfest in my pocket for probably 5 years before we actually did it.
oh, really?
Yeah, if you follow it, the tribute band things, you've always had the Elvis thing in Vegas, right? But the
Right.
tribute bands, they kind of started back east and they kind of started getting a little popular in New York area and New York State, and then they kind of started drifting out this way. And with Vegas and those kind of things so close, it made sense that they started popping up. You got an AC/DC band in Vegas that's a tribute band, and got and all, and now there's hundreds and hundreds of them. And
There it is.
I mean, and it's crazy. And so, like I said, I've been lucky to be able to hook up with a guy that all he does is he promotes tribute bands, and he's probably got 100 of them.
He's probably doing very, very well.
He is, and so that, and sometimes you get bands, uh, they'll be the same artist playing in two different tribute bands.
Of
So,
course.
yes, help me with my budget, so it's been great. I'm hoping that the general public, the economy comes back a little bit. People start getting out and buying more tickets to events. That's ultimately that's what it takes to put these things on. Even sponsors are starting to come back a little bit, like I'd mentioned a couple already. So hopefully it gets a little better and people are able to go out and buy more concert tickets and get out of the house and do a few more things. But first it was COVID, 4 years ago, and then the economy kind of hit, and cost of everything went up. Some of that because of COVID, and
Right.
so we got a new president, new everything. We'll see what happens, but our hope as promoters and just in fact fans of just live music in general, hopes that we can all get a couple extra dollars in our pocket and we can afford to go see some more great acts out there that are really, they're dying to play, and
They are.
and it's,
They are. And
it's
there's just something about seeing live music, whether it's a tribute band, whether it's a country band, whether it's
absolutely.
blues, whether it's rock and roll. KK Martin has a thought about music when people ask him, he says there's only two kinds of music, good music and bad music. So
Right.
it doesn't matter what genre you play, as
Yeah.
long as you play it well and you put, your heart and soul into it. And that's really obvious when you're looking at musicians as to who's into it and who's not. You gotta love it when somebody's up
Yeah,
there and they're just
absolutely.
putting their heart and soul into the music and it's just coming through to the audience and that connection is there and it's just great.
I have Johnny Mastro comes to mind for some reason. Johnny Mastro pops up in my head when you say that, because he he usually contacts me every year and we try to put something together, and him and Mama's Boys played at the Rock and Blues Fest a couple of times, and but he's always just talking about what he can do and where he's going with his music and everything every time I talk to him, and a lot of artists are the same way, but for some reason Johnny popped in my head just now. But it's great to see that they haven't given up, because it would have been too easy to give up during COVID.
Oh
you
yeah.
when you can't play anywhere, you can't go out of the house. The only person hearing you is your dog, you know, as I see behind you. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. My faithful hound.
got guitars on one side and dog on the other side. I figured that's where I was going with that. But, it would have been too easy for some of these artists to just kind of give up and fold, and especially ones that are making a living out of playing.
Right.
you know, where they don't have a day job, and you know, so they were getting very creative. You know, I'll tell you a quick last story. When COVID hit, we had Outlaw West was the first year that we brought it outside into a venue, and we couldn't do it.
Oh,
So
really?
this was in May, so COVID kind of hit in April of 2020, right? And we
Yeah.
had this booked in May, and I ended up spending a whole bunch of money, but I was dedicated to the music and the people that wanted to hear it. But I brought in a production crew. We set up 12 cameras, and we did a 3.5 hour live concert on air. I piped in two bands from out of state, one from Nashville and one from Ohio. And,
Nice.
and we had the other two bands played live on the stage. There was three people there. There was me, my son, and my girlfriend. And there was three people from the production crew that set up 12 cameras and did all the sound. There was six
Wow.
people here. And we did 3.5 hour concert. It was sponsored by 805. We piped in a bunch of commercials. But anyway, my point is there was a dedication there from the artist that, you know, maybe they couldn't come and play, maybe they couldn't be in the public, but they still wanted to play. And like us, we still wanted to put on the music. And
Right.
you know, it cost me a bunch of money, but it was very much worth it because the fans just loved it. And what we did, we told everybody, take your big screen TV out on your back porch, fire up the barbecue. We're gonna have a freaking tailgate party one way or the other. It may just be you at your house with your family and me and my girlfriend and my son, you know, but we had a bunch of people pipe in. They sent me pictures and people logged on. We did it live on YouTube,
Oh,
and
great.
we did it 3.5 hours. That was the kind of dedication that got people through that rough time.
Yeah.
So now we want to try to give back to that by continuing to have these events and have people buy tickets to see them.
That's amazing. You know, Freebo and Alice did the same thing. They had a weekly podcast, not
Yeah.
podcast, but I guess a visual
Yep.
thing online that you could dial into and watch them, and they entertained every week. And a lot of artists did
A
that. I
little,
saw a
little,
lot of
little,
artists.
a little Venmo link down here on the bottom, you know, if you want
Right,
to
right.
donate, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
please contribute.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
if you enjoyed this, you know, send us a couple bucks because we're not able to go out in the public and play.
Right,
So
right.
I'm just glad we got through that. And like I said, I see it coming back. I think a lot of the other promoters I talked to are seeing the same thing. We have one that's coming back in Bakersfield this year, coming back in April, called the Boxcar Festival. It's a Merle Haggard tribute.
When's that going to be?
It's April 5th,
April 5th. Okay.
5th in Bakersfield.
The
At
Boxcar Festival,
Yep,
Merle Haggard tribute.
yeah, it's
That's the right spot for Merle.
and you know, I love the Rock and Blues Fest, and I love the Yester Fest, but you know, I'm kind of a country boy at heart as well, so I love it.
Like I said, man, there's only two kinds of music, good and bad. And you know, for me, I love both kinds of country and Western.
Yeah. And yeah, we love our music, right?
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. Well, once again, man, thank you so very much for taking some
But
time talking with us today, being the co-host. Uh, we'll have to do this again.
yeah, absolutely. Anytime, Rick. We can talk about any genre you want.
Okay.
You bring it up, we'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, man, it's all about the music,
Yeah.
whether it's blues or whether it's rock or whether it's country.
Yep.
You know, I'm good with all of it. Anything to uplift our spirits today is just a beautiful thing.
Yep. Exactly.
Beautiful thing. And you know, just briefly, the NAMM show, there were so many people playing at the NAMM show, so many different artists,
I missed it. I
such
haven't
a
been to the
variety
meeting.
of things. It's like actually starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
used to
good.
go to the NAMM show just to try to find bands to book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it ended up just having a good time hanging out with friends is basically what it ended up being, you know. But yeah, it's a good time. Only promotion I need is notoriousent.net, and you can find the concerts and what we do on there. And
Yep.
there's a separate website for Kern River Block Rock and Blues Fest, and there's another one for Outlaw West Kernville. So, yeah, I appreciate it, Rick. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
Glad to see you're still kicking, and you know, we just we just keep plugging along. So,
You take care of yourself.
all right, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was great talking to Orion. I haven't heard from him in quite some time. Loved having him as my guest co-host, and I hope we can do that again soon. In the meantime, let's head over to NAMM, where we've got our pre-recorded interview with Freebo and Alice Howe. Hello, everybody. This is Rick Snyder. I'm with Rico's Blues News and Gear Up, and I'm here with Freebo and Alice. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good, Rick. Thanks for having us.
Doing great. Happy to be here with you.
Well, I'm really glad that we were able to contact one another. Freebo, what's going on in your career right now?
Well, Alice and I are working together. Alice is a wonderful singer with what I call a 1 in a billion voice. I mean, some people are just born with it, like Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt, Emmylou Harris, and Alice and I met about 7-8 years ago at a Folk Alliance conference, and I heard her sing, and I was really impressed. And I said, you want to come out to LA and I'll produce a couple songs for you? And that's led to, two working on a third record together, a live record we just did. We tour all over the country, all over the world, really. And it's been a really wonderful musical relationship. It's been great.
Amen. I second it all. It's all true. Yeah, we've been having a great time making music together, touring together, recording together, and found that we really just have just a shared love of the musical styles that we have a hybrid of all these different styles that, I grew up listening to. He played on the records I grew up listening to. So,
okay.
It's a nice full circle moment, I think, for both of us.
So is there a particular genre that you guys gravitate to?
Well, if you have to name one, I'd say Americana.
Okay.
But, Americana is really roots. It's really a combination of folk, blues, rock, country, R&B, Celtic, and all the above. It's kind of why Bonnie and I related, because she comes from so many different genres, and so do I, and so does Alice, and so it's just a natural fit. So we just write the songs from our heart, and you write the song, and it's like, okay, how does it feel? Does it feel kind of country? Does it feel R&B? Does it feel rock and roll? And then we just produce it that way. So, yeah.
So you write the song and then you decide how it's going to be arranged?
Well, the writing kind of determines that. Like if it's a 3/4 song, Alice likes to write a lot in 3/4. Doom, boom.
They're not all like that.
Yeah. So it could be a waltz or it could be 6/8. I mean, it's just, and then sometimes I'll take that 3/4 thing and I'll go and so we like to work together. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool for me. I've grown a lot, just in my work in the studio with Freebo. He brings so much experience, and I've just really soaked all that up. And we've gotten to work with some amazing musicians. We did my last record at Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which was a very cool experience. And yeah, we actually did a session at Sunset Sound a year ago. And like Freebo mentioned, we have a new live record that is going to be coming out next month. That's just the two of us with our friend Jeff Fielder playing electric guitar. So that was kind of a duo, our first duo release. So we're really excited about that.
Where did you record that?
Up in Port Townsend, Washington, at a place called Rain Shadow Recording Studio. It's a beautiful little town. Have you ever been to Port Townsend?
Yes, I had friends that lived in Port Townsend. As a matter of fact, I would go up there and stay with them when I went to the Bumbershoot Festival.
Oh, yeah.
You guys been there?
I haven't. I've been to Sasquatch out in George, Washington, but there's just so many great, that whole area has so many great festivals, and it's
definitely has a musical culture there. You find people on the street playing pianos and all kinds of strange and unusual things. So what's next for you guys?
Well, we're actually, let's see, we at McCabe's. We're playing at McCabe's, which is
I love McCabe's.
Yeah, me too. I played there many times. Alice and I played there several times, and it's one of the best acoustic venues in the country. It's a listening room. It's a guitar shop.
I know.
And on the weekends, the back room turns into a venue, like a little over 100 seats. And people just go there to listen. There's no booze, no nothing, no food, just the music. So we're playing there on the 22nd of February, 2/22, and we're excited, and it'll kind of be the debut of the live record. And then we're going to the East Coast. We have a month's worth of gigs on the East Coast in March.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on the road, probably half the year. We do call LA home, but we're always going to the East Coast. We were in Europe last year. We definitely we cover some miles. So.
You guys were affected by the fires or not so much?
Well, we live in Hollywood, right on the West Hollywood border, and a lot of time we go hiking up in Runyon Canyon. So the street we're on actually feeds into Runyon Canyon. And the second night of the fire, our upstairs neighbor, and I always thought Hollywood's like the safest place to be. Our upstairs,
exactly.
yeah, our upstairs.
No wildfires.
No wildfires. No mudslides. She said, we have anything to worry about? I said, not at all. Our neighbor called, says, I smell smoke, and somebody says there's a fire in Hollywood Hills. So I went up the steps, went on the roof of the building, and the whole mountain is ablaze. In the Runyon Canyon where we hike, I said, Alice, we got to get the hell out of here. And we packed both cars and took, you take guitars, take your passport, take your phone, you take some. She took a couple of her father's paintings, a couple of my father's paintings, and you just take, and you don't have much time. And we're lucky we got to come back. When I know a lot of people who didn't. Right. And lost everything, so we're blessed.
Well, let me ask you a question. Now that we've talked about that, are you guys involved in any kind of project to help protect the environment, or any kind of cause that you're particularly passionate about?
Well, I would say we're both passionate about many eco-minded, socially conscious, liberal-minded causes. When we did our weekly online show during the pandemic, we would choose a place to donate to every week. So we would everything from like Planned Parenthood to, the Poverty Law Center. There were a bunch, but we actually coming up this Tuesday, we're going to be part of a really cool fire relief concert that's going to be out in Agora Hills at the Canyon, and that's with an organization called the Get Together Foundation, and there's going to be like over 60 artists performing, and we get to be part of that. So that'll be really cool, raising money for the Guitar Center Musicians Fund and the Firefighters Fund, I think. So, yeah. That's on the 28th if you're out in that part of LA. So
January 28th.
January 28th, and it's also going to be live streamed so folks can tune in. And if you go to my website, alicehowe.com or freebomusic.com, we have all our shows and everything listed. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
And Rick, what's interesting is, we're in very, very interesting times, and politically and socially, and
were you aware of that?
Yeah, politically, socially, economically, environmentally, and what we found is that we have a unique position as musicians and as songwriters and as entertainers, that we can go out and we don't have to even do political songs. We can just, we can do songs about love and help spread that and get people's minds off of what's going on, and maybe get their mind on love and connection and communication and the lack of separation. And so it seems like it's not a cause, but in a way it is. So what we do is a cause unto itself.
It is.
It almost feels like we're ministering to people sometimes, and like making them feel better about things and giving them like courage, to just keep going. And I feel like that is really powerful.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely something that people need today, because there's a lot of negativity, and anything that's positive, that's uplifting,
Yeah.
And I always tell people that, better to lift somebody up than to try and hold them down. So it sounds like you guys are doing that.
Yeah, we do our best, and that's what it's all about. To me, it's about human connection, and we're all human beings, and we all have feelings, and it's the same feelings. We might have attached different people, different situation, but we all know what sadness is. We all know what anger is. We all know what joy is. We know what loss is. And so I think it's a question, and what we do with our writing is, we put our feelings into it. And when you sing the song, you put a musical foundation, a cushion underneath it that really strengthens the emotion of what you're saying. And then when you're singing, playing it, you own that. And it's a very powerful thing, and it relates to people. If they feel you feeling it, not with your eyes closed, but relating to them, then they feel it too. And that's a connection.
Really good seeing you again, and a pleasure meeting you.